Alright, let's get one thing straight. This isn't a review. I'm not here to grade, nitpick, or sigh over the pacing. This is just me pointing out everything Alice in Borderland Season 3 nailed, those moments that made me cheer, cringe in awe, or just go yep, that's why I love this show. Season 3 has a reputation for being divisive. Some people hate it, some people are screaming into the void about every choice. But honestly, I had fun. And I'm here to celebrate why. We're talking character moments, clever games, heart-wrenching stakes, and yes, the kind of visual flair that makes you pause and say, okay, that's actually genius. So buckle up. This is your friendly, highlight reel of everything that worked for me in Borderland's wildest season yet. Season 3 of Alice in Borderland gives me a personal win right out of the gate. Arisu is finally front and center again. Although episode 1 had me sweating bullets when the first half focused so much on Ryuji. Season 2's ensemble worked, sure, but I've always liked the story best when it revolves around Arisu. I mean, the show is called Alice in Borderland, not Alice and Friends in Borderland. So seeing him back in the driver's seat feels right. To be clear, I'm not saying the characters from Season 2 suck. They're pretty fantastic. But this time? He's dripping with confidence, what the internet call aura farming. Honestly, I expected a slow-motion shot of him being a badass. And you know what? The show delivered that in the train game. He's never looked cooler. But the best part. The sharp strategist we met in Season 1 is back. The synopsis once slapped the word brilliant on him, and for a hot second in Season 2, I was like, are we talking about the same guy? But here? He's the undisputed brain of the team. Every move has purpose. Every gamble feels like it's calculated. Maybe it's because Chishiya isn't around, which is a little sad, but you know what? I'm not complaining. I'll take a fully powered up Arisu any day. Watching him plot and scheme was fun. And to be fair to the show, there is a reason why his intelligence was scaled back. Season wasn't about him being smart, it was more about him growing as a leader. Maybe one day I'll make a video about it. The re-entry game. And when I say re-entry, I mean the first official game inside the Borderland. And not the one that Ryuji plays to get in the Borderland. Sets the tone for the season. The first game? Think of it as a math test from hell. Each question has a number as the answer, and every wrong guess fires flaming arrows at you. Miss by 1? 1 arrow. Miss by 10? 10 arrows. Basically, the bigger your brain fumble, the hotter your barbecue. Yeah, it's borderline cruel, but that's Borderland for you. First time I saw it, I thought, really? That's the big comeback?
After a multi-year hiatus. But then it clicked. The fiery visuals, the tension, the nostalgia of watching Arisu solve the puzzle exactly like he did in Season 1. And of course, everyone knows Arisu's brain only kicks into genius mode when he's 1 second from being toast. It's nostalgic, in the most Borderland way possible. Even his streak of terrible luck becomes fun. Guessing the world's population off by 100 million and getting smacked with arrows? Classic Arisu. You can almost hear him muttering, of course this happens to me. Plus the arrows look cool, it's like raining fire. And then there's Tetsu, the sketchy, drug addict with a heart somewhere under the mess. He quietly knows first aid because hospitals are off limits for him. And when Arisu gets hurt later, Tetsu steps up. Set up and pay off, that's literally the rule of storytelling 101.
You plant a seed early, and later, it either blossoms, or you forget about it, and get dragged across the internet. Yeah, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but there are actual positives, and now you've got ammo to flex in your next Reddit debate. After the chaos of the re-entry game, the season actually slows down for a bit of breathing room, and it's smarter than you'd think. With only 6 episodes, there's a real risk of rushing through character moments, but episode 2 proves they can still make us care, or at least try. It shows us how these random people actually ended up in Borderland. Little glimpses of their real-world lives, the mistakes, the bad luck, the straight-up tragedies that pulled them here. It's the show's way of saying, hey, don't just see them as cannon fodder. These people had lives, regrets, reasons. It's a shortcut to making us care about new faces without grinding the pacing to a halt. Whether it works or not depends on the person watching. It mostly worked for me. The stories range from an abused housewife, a woman attacked by a stalker, a bullied kid slitting his wrists. Then there's Arisu, still front and center, still brilliant, still cursed with bad luck. It's the perfect mix. We remember why we fell in love with him in Season 1, but now there's a little extra weight to his choices. He's going back to save his family. In the conclusion, I'm going to talk more about the downside of making Arisu the sole focus of the show, but for now enjoy his appearance. The story isn't just about outsmarting death traps, it's about who makes it out, and why that matters. Okay, credit where it's due, the zombie hunt game absolutely slaps. On paper, it's just cards. You and your opponent throw down numbers, higher one wins. But then, here comes the zombie card, and suddenly it's not about numbers anymore, it's about infection. Lose to a zombie, and you don't just lose a card, you become one. And that's brilliant because it instantly turns a simple duel into a survival horror scenario. And the show doesn't stop there. Shotgun cards? Chef's kiss. The one-time use makes every choice feel monumental. Do you spend it early to protect the group, or gamble and hold on for the final rounds? Then the vaccine card shows up, and it's such a perfect twist. You can bring someone back, but not yourself. That single restriction forces strategy, tension, and drama in every round. Although I should mention that I didn't see a single vaccine card. Ray claimed to have it, but she lied about that. I'm going to chalk it up to a positive. Without the vaccine, getting turned is permanent. So that ups the tension. Of course, I can't talk about the zombie hunt and not mention Ray. Zombie hunt isn't just Arisu's stage. Ray makes an instant impression. Her combination of cunning, unpredictability, blue hair, and those moments of cold efficiency quickly earned her fan-favorite status. She adds a wild card energy that keeps both players and viewers on edge. For this game, at least. If Arisu is the brains, Ray is the chaos injection, and honestly, she's impossible not to watch. Okay, so yes, some people complain, why didn't everyone just become zombies and win? Here's the Borderland reality check. This isn't chess, it's a sadistic playground filled with people who will kill you the second you slip up. Revealing you're a zombie isn't a clever strategy, it's basically signing your own death warrant. That's the genius of this game. It's not about exploiting loopholes, it's about trust. Do you risk helping someone who might literally turn on you at any moment? Do you keep your secrets and hope your team survives? Every choice has consequences, and watching the tension ratchet up as alliances wobble is pure Borderland magic. So even if the rules are messy on paper, in practice it's a psychological thriller condensed into card flips. Humans versus zombies, suspense versus betrayal, trust versus self-preservation, it's all there, and it's exactly the kind of chaotic brilliance you want from a death game. Episode 4 hits hard with Ryuji's backstory. Even as a teacher, the guy was obsessed with death, and a near-death stunt that accidentally kills a student explains so much about his grim worldview. It's dark, sure, but it adds depth to a character who could have just been the creepy philosophical guy. Suddenly, his obsession feels earned and terrifying, for the most part. Ryuji is a complicated character, and most of the time not in a good way. But I'll talk more about that in the conclusion. Alright, let's talk about the train game, because yes, this one is pure tension distilled into 8 metal boxes. The rules are deceptively simple. Move forward car by car, avoid poison gas, use your limited gas cartridges wisely, and don't look back. What makes this game brilliant isn't the complexity, it's the suspense. Every step forward is a calculated risk. Do you put on a gas mask preemptively and waste a cartridge, or gamble that the next car is safe? Each choice forces players to weigh instinct against strategy, and watching them second-guess themselves is edge-of-your-seat gold. Plus, canaries historically react to toxic gas first. Their behavior can signal which car is about to release poison, giving players a chance to react or save their gas cartridges. Plus, I know it makes no sense, but it was kinda cool watching Ryuji jump from one train to another. The semifinals split the teams, doubling the tension. Usagi's crew faces the brutal climb of Tokyo Tower for a high-stakes vertical bingo. And yes, it's as chaotic as it sounds. Meanwhile, Arisu's team dives into a kick the can death match. The rules are insane. Every time they can change his hands, the timer shrinks. 3 members die, but Kanzuya, the Yakuza bruiser, goes down in a blaze of defiance. He's stabbed again and again, but he keeps charging forward, taking half the opposition with him. It's gruesome, it's heroic, and it's exactly the kind of over-the-top spectacle that makes Borderland fun. Episode 5 leans hard into the emotional side of Borderland, and honestly, it's a bit of a gut punch in the best way. Each character confronts their best and worst possible futures, and the stakes suddenly feel intensely personal. Possible Futures is brilliant because it's not just about survival, it's about temptation, choice, and consequence. The players are trapped in a 25-room building, and each room has multiple doors. Step through a door, and it shows you a future, some good, some bad. The catch? The game promises the future you choose will actually come true. It's genius because it's psychological. Players are forced to confront their desires, regrets, and fears. Do you pick the shiny, idealistic future you dream of, or the realistic, safer path? And here's the kicker, the game punishes recklessness and selfishness. Chasing a perfect future without thinking it through? That can get you killed. Every choice feels weighty, every temptation feels real, and the tension never lets up. Plus, the visuals of each future room are cinematic gold, lighting, reflections, and framing make every decision feel like a movie moment. Possible Futures isn't just a game, it's a lesson wrapped in suspense, and it's easily one of the smartest setups this season. Of course, some viewers weren't impressed. The biggest complaint? Why didn't the players just ignore the flashy future illusions and focus on finding the exit? Fair point. On paper, it seems like the simplest solution. But here's why it works narratively. Borderland isn't about logic, it's about human psychology. Possible Futures is a game designed to exploit desire, regret, and hope itself. In a place where trust is rare and every choice can kill you, ignoring a door that literally promises your dreams is easier said than done. The tension comes from giving players a tempting shortcut that might be deadly, and watching them wrestle with it. That's pure storytelling gold. Plus Arisu figured it out, he wasn't swayed by the futures. He was looking for a way out. I want you to know how hard I had to work to make this video not all about Arisu. Tetsu's story is pure tragedy. All he wants is a future free from drugs and gambling, so he keeps chasing rooms that promise a better life. But the game doesn't reward wishful thinking, he ends up in a room that demands more points than he has. As the end approaches, he glimpses his future, getting arrested, locked up, staring at a prison cell. He mutters, "Yeah, this seems about right," and that's it, he's gone. It's dark, it's ironic, and it hits because the game isn't just testing skill, it's testing hope itself. Take Sohta and Yuna, for example. Siblings who are suddenly thrust into this high-stakes game. The show makes their bond matter. Yuna finds her dream husband, perhaps even starts a family, and Sohta's happiness is tied entirely to her. Tragic yet wholesome, because it makes sense. Their parents died young, leaving Sohta to raise his sister. But the game punishes them for chasing idealistic futures. They deviate from Arisu's careful plan, quickly lose points, and eventually, Sohta ends up in a room he can't escape. His future shows him walking Yuna down the aisle in a church, her dream fulfilled, but he dies watching it. It's devastating, but it also deepens our understanding of his selflessness and love. Then there's Rei, whose good futures are all about her love of anime, landing jobs that let her follow her passion. Sachiko's futures hit harder emotionally. The good ones show domestic happiness, the bad ones depict abuse and trauma. And Nobu, haunted by bullying and a attempt, faces visions where he falls for a pyramid scheme or bears the guilt of his mother's illness. The genius of Possible Futures is how it externalizes trauma. When a player is forced to stay in a room, they're surrounded by the worst possible versions of their lives, futures screaming at them. It's terrifying, it's heartbreaking, but it's also profoundly human. Every vision tells us who these characters are, what they fear, and what they secretly long for. And the show never lets the spectacle overshadow the characters, it's always grounded in empathy. For all the criticism the game gets, why didn't they just ignore the visions and escape? the answer is trust. Borderland isn't kind. Revealing your hand, or chasing a personal future, can be a death sentence. And that tension, that psychological pressure, is exactly what makes this game a highlight of the season. The finale of Season 3 is pure spectacle, and it knows exactly how to toy with your expectations. The trailers teased Arisu's dramatic laser death, and for a moment, it seems real, classic Borderland misdirection. His unlucky dice roll forces him to volunteer to stay behind while the others escape, and the tension is through the roof. The city floods, chaos reigns, and yet Arisu smashes through barriers and charges after Usagi like he's untouchable. Plus Arisu is basically immortal in Borderland, so that helps. Then there's Ken Watanabe as the Watchman. Yes, that Ken Watanabe, his mere presence elevates every scene he's in. And in classic Borderland fashion, he drops one of the season's most mind-bending reveals. The Joker card isn't a person, it's a concept. They're gestures that fill the gaps between cards, the gaps in time, and the gap between life and death. Existential philosophy wrapped in high-stakes drama? Borderland does it effortlessly. Bonus points, it's Ken Watanabe being Ken Watanabe, and we'll happily take that. The closing montage is a great payoff. Usagi has a quiet, heartfelt vision with her father. Survivors find their footing, Kuina teaches karate, Aguni runs the Hatter's shop, Niragi tries to be a better dad. Even Chishiya delivers the season's ultimate truth in one line, even if you don't know the answer, it's not so bad, is it? Life, I mean. After all the chaos, trauma, and almost too much death, that simple, reflective thought lands like a victory lap for the audience. It's also nice seeing these characters, even if it's just a cameo. So, here's the takeaway, Alice in Borderland Season 3 isn't flawless. Ryuji's obsession with Usagi feels forced, Banda barely gets any spotlight, and some of the new cast members, Rei especially, gets sidelined once the story swings back to Arisu. Their arcs, which started so promisingly, sometimes feel like supporting pieces in his journey. But let's be real, the season still delivers. The games are inventive, tense, and emotionally rich. Possible Futures isn't just a puzzle, it's a masterclass in character storytelling. The visuals, from zombie hunts to the final train sequence, are cinematic candy. The finale ties it all together with stakes, philosophy, and even a little quiet reflection, reminding us that Borderland isn't just about surviving, it's about why we fight to survive. Yes, it stumbles in places. Yes, some characters don't get the attention they deserve. But when the season hits, it hits hard. The tension, the spectacle, the personal stakes, they all land. Season may 3rd not be perfect, it's not even as good as Season 1 and 2, but it's bold, inventive, and above all, unapologetically Borderland. And for fans me, that's more than enough to celebrate.